Next is the never-ending internal squabbles within Nigeria's main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Now, in the latest turn of events, PDP was in the week forced to debunk fears that some aggrieved members of the party have slated 15th and 16th of November for a parallel national convention in Abuja, same period the party has scheduled to hold its national convention in Ibadan, your state capital. Meanwhile, ahead of the PDP's National Elective Convention, the camp loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesomwike, has rejected the Southern Leaders Zoning Consultative Meeting in Lagos as PDP governors meet in Zamfara State over pressing issues that must be resolved to ensure a smooth national convention in Ibadan. Meanwhile, the PDP Youth Leaders Forum has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to the success of the PDP National Convention, describing it as sacrosanct.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Telecast TV. I'm Mira Kangala. You're watching a conversation with Honorable Degbo Ologun Ogba, speaking about Wikeleaks group reject PDP zoning meeting in Lagos. Will Wike be disciplined for anti-party? Endeavor to watch to the end. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, subscribe, like, comment, and share your thoughts. Don't miss trending videos.
Well, to help us make sense of the happenings within Nigeria's frontline opposition political party, joining us in the studio is the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Degbo Ologun Ogba. He's also a former two-term member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much.
Good evening,
yeah,
so nice to be here to speak with you, have this opportunity of having this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, what do? We're all here for everyone. Let's talk about the meeting, first of all, that's ongoing in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital today, where we have the PDP governors meeting to flesh out issues. I mean, all this retinue of issues that have happened. I mean, what's the update coming from there?
Yeah, thank you very much again for having me, and it's nice to be here. But I think the right way to start is to, first of all, thank our team members of the PDP for their unflinching support and commitment to the party, in spite of all the challenges we have in recent times, because the strength of the PDP is not in Abuja. The strength of the PDP is in the units, is in the wards, the local government, and the states. And the feelers and the feedback we're getting that this very solid constituency of the party is solid. So what we need to do is to ensure that at the national, the signal we're getting or that they are getting are such that continue to enhance their confidence in the party. And we're glad to report that we're solid at that base. And so that explains the kind of resurgence we're finding, the recalibration of the party, and that is continuing. I mean, one of the key points from Zamfara is to speak about the state of the nation, the insecurity. Just before I walked into your studio, you were talking about the savagery going on in Katsina, in Zamfara, in the northwest, in the northeast, and no part of this country is safe. So that speaks to the government in power, the incapacity, the insensitivity, the rudderlessness of that, because the primary purpose of government is the welfare and the security of the people. I mean, you can't have the welfare if you don't have security. And so that was front burner for the Governors Forum, because indeed, that's where the people live. Second, the commitment of the party, the NWC, the National Working Committee, and of course the Governors Forum, the Board of Trustees, and all organs of the party. And just today, the youth leaders across the country sat down to talk about recalibrating, bringing the party together, because we have these structures. And that's why the governors made a clear statement in their communique at the end of March about the convention in Ibadan. You recall that at the 101 meeting of the NEG, it was decided that Ibadan, the Yoruba capital, will be the venue, one for the convention, two, and it's an elective convention, and the third, the dates will be 15th and 16th of November 2025. And indeed, all actions towards that have started.
Except for the parallel talks of parallel convention. You would have seen that, press briefing by, Honorable Kingsley Chinda and all of that, saying that, look, it looks like there was no consultation before that Lagos meeting. State chairmen were not consulted. Some party leaders were not consulted and all of that. Why does it look like the PDP continues to have a wicked problem despite all that you've done to reduce the challenges?
Again, you can't, when people are in a particular state in life, there's so much you can do to change them. We're a political party that has a constitution, that there's a free entry and free exit. When you subscribe to that constitution, you are duty bound to obey the provision of that constitution. Now, let me say back to where you started about Honorable Chinda. Again, for us, for me in particular, I don't intend to have a personal issue with anybody. I don't even to join issue on these matters. What we have done, because for clarity, and so that all these dramas will not begin to confuse people in the grassroots, because that is the intent. Unfortunately, when you hold public office, you should have it with trust, and you carry it with courage of dignity and truth and integrity. Honorable Chinda was invited to that meeting.
As minority leader?
As a minority leader, because every organ of the party was consulted.
Well, he claims he wasn't invited. Well, and you would have seen that even Nyesomwike too also claimed that he wasn't invited to the last neck, the 101 neck.
I like the word claim. I wish I knew about it, but this is already in the public domain. The letter to the Honorable Minister, Honorable Wike, it's in public domain.
Yeah, I mean,
you saw that letter, signed by the secretary of the party, and it was received in his office. I don't know how else you can see it.
Yeah,
beyond that.
And 2 days before that, sorry to just cut you short. Yeah. I saw Nyesomwike, 2 days after that, I saw Nyesomwike and the secretary of your party commissioning of the water project. And I was wondering, how could he have not received a letter of invitation from his friend?
Again, now that is for the public domain, that for Nigerians, that for members to determine. And that comes to the issue about people to speak things, and that's why we should begin to hold people accountable. He got the letter. Beyond that, in law, when you make a publication, it is a notice to the whole world. The notice of that letter, of that NEC meeting, was published. Beyond the letter that he received personally, there was a personal service of that. Again, we want as much as possible to go away from this personal issue. The fact that the minister, the letter of invitation to that NEC was received by him. Now let's go to the real issue. The 101 NEC meeting of 24th of July 2025 met and determined the venue, the agenda, and the dates for the convention. And consistent with our constitution and our practice, the party went ahead to set up the zoning committee, as well as the National Convention Organizing Committee, headed by Governor Diri and Governor Fintri, respectively. And now they went into consultation. And then people were talking, and you find in the Lagos meeting, which was consultative, if you say something is consultative, what does that imply? It means consulting people. He was invited to that meeting. He can elect not to come. But the important thing, and this is what we're beginning to strive in this party, you are either in PDP or you're not in PDP.
Well, that's the problem, because they say you're not sanctioning your members, and they're going against the party's constitution.
Again, this is the challenge about managing human organization. A political party is so that it comprises of many people, different backgrounds, different interests, depending on what they want to achieve. But the overriding thing is the constitution of the party. And we believe, and that's what we have been doing in the last years after the last presidential election. We have reached out. We've been asking for reconciliation. We've taken steps. We have set up several at different levels. The Sorake Committee, the that committee. These are our people, even from at the NWC level. We've been doing all of that. But if you find people who decide to be irreconcilable, there's nothing you can do. But again, at some point, in human nature, you must say to yourself, enough It's enough. And I'm sure the party is at that point. Where if you're a member of this party and you continue to do those things that continue to put this party in disrepute and continue to affect ultimately the democracy of this country, where you begin to have APC, have continue to roughshod on Nigeria democratically, and we have people conniving with that, again, as a party, if we are responsible, we need to say enough, because there's a limit to what.
Are you going to say enough is enough on Monday when you're holding the 102nd NEC meeting?
I'm not going to preempt.
Because I've been told,
yeah.
Debo Ologunagba,
yeah.
that the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, signed for the NEC meeting to hold, but he refused to sign for the National Convention to hold.
Again,
isn't that grandstanding and then wanting to challenge the authority of the party itself? No. What will NEC do against its national secretary?
Again,
I'm not just talking about Wike.
I'm going to overstep and preempt the NEC. All right? I won't sit down here and preempt the NEC. Look, this party is an organized party that has a process, has a structure, has the organs, and we're up to the task. Our first option is to look at all ways to get people together, because that is the purpose of party. Bringing people together, look at different interests, reconciling them, and in the end is a win-win situation. But again, when you're talking about the National Convention, because I need to emphasize that, I will say to you that the train for the National Convention has moved and arrived in Ibadan.
I just hope you're sure of that, because if the National Secretary didn't sign that letter to INEC,
I come back to this, sir.
What happens?
The good thing is that we, because recognizing the importance of INEC as regulators of party, and we will have a working relationship with them, each of the meetings since the last, from the 100, every of the meetings we have invited INEC as witnesses to show demonstration that to the public that we have nothing to hide. We want to run our affairs, and we need our regulator to know. So they were at the 101, and we have invited them for the 102 meeting we're holding on Monday, 25th. However, let me say this. Issues that relate to our personal communication is not what I'm going to discuss on the clear light. The secretary has a responsibility, he knows that. We know he has that. And then I won't come here to say, oh, you have signed letter, you have signed, because if we write, for instance, to another organization, I'm not going to tell you that we have written letter or we have not written. I like the word where you said, you understand. You can't fact check that. But we know. I have it of very good authority that Samuel Anyanwu only signed for the next meeting that's holding on Monday, but he refused to sign for the convention to hold, and that's why there are also talks that if that convention does hold in November 15-16, that there will be another parallel convention in Abuja. Again, those are supposition of people. I am saying to you authoritatively from the party that everything I want to do towards the convention, there are processes. Who convenes the convention? The chairman of the party. All right?
Alongside the secretary.
Absolutely, with the secretary. If the secretary or if any officer refuses to perform a particular, there's a constitution. Again, you see, we put so much hype into personality.
And that's why I'm asking if that decision will be taken on Monday during the 100th.
And that's what I'm saying to you. The NEC will sit down, look at the last meeting, and ask what action there will be, what matters arising, and all of this. But again, I'm not here to preempt what NEC will do and not what NEC will not do. But I do say to you that everything that needed to be done by the party under the constitution and the guidelines of INEC with respect to convening and conducting a national convention has been done. INEC is in the law. INEC has been present. INEC, they are in attendance of those meetings. And they were there, they listened in, and they know exactly what decision we were taking. So if people refuse to do certain job, which I doubt they will do, because it will be self-destruction, they need to do what they need to do. And in any event, our party is called People's Democratic Party, not one-man party. And that's why we have a structure where we find way to have accommodation. But again, you can't have accommodation forever. We need to move. People have declared that they want to support a particular party. They're entitled to do that. But
Nyesom during the week said, look, he's only going to support anybody who's going to support the re-election of President Bola.
Well, again.
And people are wondering, is the PDP going to support President Bola Tinubu for his re-election?
Clearly, the PDP has not. And we issued a reprimand a few weeks ago. we mean every word in that reprimand. And it's to all members of our party.
Well, some people say you were just boasting and blowing hot air. That's what some of your party leaders
sometimes hot air will kill you and suffocate you. So just watch. This party will do that which it has to do. Again, we can't say like this. Look, the more important issues of state, we are forgetting that.
Yeah.
And APC is continuing with this matter. Look at the election, the by-election.
Yeah, and I'm just coming to talk about that. I mean, Kaura Namoda, you talked about it, but the APC ended up winning the election.
Absolutely. I like the word, the APC ended winning. APC did not win the election. And I'll tell you this. Hear this. There were 5 polling units that were involved. 5. 5 polling units, not 5 wards. And then, 2 weeks before the election, there was a massive attack by bandits or terrorists in that same location. And they actually abducted some people, killed some, burnt houses. This federal government did not deploy security forces there. But for election for 5 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they deployed the army, they deployed the Air Force, they deployed the Navy, they deployed DSS, brought a police mobile from Gombe, Sokoto. Come on, excuse me. Have they really won? That's why
the results,
APC
garnered over 8,000 votes, and the PDP got about 5,000 plus. So
again, I like the word.
More state constituency election.
I like that. Each word you say goes to reflect the panic mode that APC is, believing that they can force Nigerians to vote in a particular way. No, it will not. Because what will be on the ballot in 2027 will be hunger, will be insecurity. The Carolina Moda people will say, wait a minute, we attacked this time, you didn't bring police. And of course, at some point, policemen are Nigerians too. They go through the same thing that we go through. We're saying, give us government that give us security and the comfort that we need, so that we can begin to aspire and pursue happiness in our own way. But this government is deaf and dumb. And yet again, we are here as a party. PDP is recalibrating. Nigerians are waiting. Why are Nigerians so interested in PDP?
Yeah,
the question is this. Because they have the nostalgia about what we did in 16 years, where it was possible for your institution, for instance, to have a budget. And it will be expected that you can walk through the budget. Now you can't. Because you buy stuff today, the next day you can't predict it. And then the government comes and says we have $41 billion in reserve. And it's so curious. What is the makeup of this $41 billion? Does it make sense? Let's see. You are having this. You are a father. Your kids are dying. They can't go to school. They can't sleep well at night. I say, I have a lot of money in the bank. I don't get it.
All right, very interesting perspective. As we try to round off this conversation, Debo Ologunagba, there's this statement that was made by Governor Seyi Makinde during the week after the results of the federal constituencies. I mean, the elections, by-elections across the nation. He said that from the results and PDP's analysis, that PDP seems to be the party in waiting, because a whole lot of Nigerians, at least for the constituencies that I didn't win, it came second. That means Nigerians are still with the PDP. Yeah. But how true can that be? I mean, we see the ADC coming up, made up of majority of your members who defected and all of that. Can you really galvanize Nigerians ahead of the 2027 general elections? I mean, from your synthesis of what happened during those by-elections, again, APC won 12, and you only managed to go to get 1 out of 16.
Again, I mean, winning Nigeria has its own content, but let's leave it at that. But I'm going to tell you that statement by Governor Seyi Makinde is a true position of the country and our party. This is the only party that has membership in every unit in this country, at least 10 members. And that says you more. That's why I started by acknowledging the perseverance and the commitment of our members across the country. That's where we started from. And the governors echo that in their communique, just issued in Zamfara, Zamfara State. Having said that, the people really want the PDP. That's why they're excited and they're anxious about what we do. Otherwise, we won't say that. Let's say it this way. If some people both say the PDP is dead, Okay, if PDP is dead, why are you interested in their affairs? That tells you a story. Except there are other behind-the-scene activities that we're looking for. But again, PDP is too big, is too organized, is too structured, with all the organs working seamlessly. And it is because of this recalibration that they're seeing. That's why you find the panic mode. And that's why I see the APC getting jittery about this. We will have a very successful convention at Ibadan on the 16th, 15th, and 16th of November. And like I tell you, every step taken so far with the venue, with accommodation, with logistics in Oyo State, Ibadan, is top-notch.
All right.
Very soon you'll be seeing me there, and we will invite your network to see the level of preparation we set. It will be one of the best national conventions ever in this country.
Well,
I can guarantee
we just hope that happens, and Wike and his group doesn't go ahead with the issues of talks of parallel convention and all of that. Just before I let you go, Debo, do you have the capacity to mobilize other political parties into an alliance of some sort in 2027? Well, because people keep saying that the PDP is too weak to be able to go into the 2027 alone.
Well, again, let's put the reality today. There are two things that Nigerians across borders agreed on. The APC has failed because it has failed in providing security and welfare for the people. That is universal in terms of substantial. Second is that we have agreed that as request that we have an alternative to this party and get them out of government. Not because anybody hates anybody, because they have not done well and they have failed as a government. Now, the only one that we need to work on is that how do we get them out? There must be a collaboration of a unified form of Nigerians based on the need to have a good government. And in that way, the PDP is the only party that is well positioned to take out the APC. What we need to do is to call on other Nigerians. We're willing to work with them. They have the same purpose.
People like Peter Obi and all of that, because there have been talks that you're asking them to come back. People like Jonathan and all of that. Can you confirm that you've been speaking with former President Goodluck Jonathan?
Again, I don't speak for President Jonathan, and then I will ask that you speak to him. I do not speak for Peter Obi. What you need to do, I don't know who is talking to him, but as a party, we are available because we are very, very wide in this country and extensive. And we're welcoming those who have the same viewpoint in. But let me say this. Within the PDP today, we have very exceedingly qualified candidates or persons. We have our governors who are performing. You go to Taraba, you go to Bauchi, you go to they are qualified exceedingly to step up the plate to be president of this country. And PDP and of course indeed Nigeria will begin to remember with nostalgia, and they will come to PDP because that's the only party in this country today.
All right, we must leave it there. Thank you so much. Debo Ologunagba is a National Publicity Secretary of Nigeria's major opposition, the People's Democratic Party, and is also a former two-term member of the House of Representatives and a lawyer, very successful lawyer in his own sense. We must thank you so much for joining us, and we'll continue to wait and see what the PDP will be doing, because the APC is also not waiting for you, and neither is Labour Party or the ADC waiting for you. So we can only say that you have huge battles to fight ahead. But thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That's the much we can take on this edition of This Week. Thanks to our production team here in Abuja, Lagos, and London. Do join us same time next week for another exciting edition. I'm Nyesom.